In a remote village by the coast, there lived Amara, an Aswang who appeared as an ordinary young woman in her 18 years. Tall, with fair skin and eyes that sparkled like stars, she was unlike other Aswangs, who were often feared and repulsive. Instead, she had an innate beauty that captured the attention of every man who crossed her path. But her beauty carried a secret, one that only her closest friend Lila knew about. Lila, an elderly root digger, had chosen to guide Amara, believing that the young woman's goodness would eventually lead to a change in her fate. Her being an Aswang wasn't a curse, but rather a part of an ancient lineage, born to maintain the balance of nature. One night, a gathering took place in their village. It was an event full of joy and laughter, with people singing, dancing, and sharing delicious food. Amara and Lila sat on the sidelines, observing the men and women around them. One of the men standing by the table was Adrian, a man in his 30s, tall with deep eyes. Amara had encountered him once before, but they had not yet spoken. "That's Adrian, isn't it?" Layla asked Amara, her eyes fixed on the man from a distance. "Yes, that's him, the new teacher in the village. But I haven't really met him yet," Amara replied, a trace of unease she couldn't explain in her voice. Fate had other plans. As Adrian stood by the table, Amara decided to walk over to him. As she made her way through the crowd, she couldn't escape the gazes of the men who watched her pass. All eyes were on her, but she wasn't looking for admiration. "Good evening," Amara greeted, her voice soft as she approached Adrian. Their eyes met. In that moment, the world seemed to fade away, the laughter, the music, the chatter, leaving just the two of them locked in a silent conversation. Adrian was struck by her presence, her beauty, which seemed almost otherworldly. "Good evening, miss?" Adrian asked, a touch of curiosity in his voice. "Amara," she smiled. "Amara Valarosa." "Adrian. I've never met you before, but I can see there's something mysterious about you," Adrian said with a smile, his gaze lingering a little longer than expected. Their conversation blossomed effortlessly. They spoke of dreams, of the future, of things they longed for, both unaware of the impending emotional chaos their connection would stir. Amara couldn't help but feel a pull toward him, but she also felt the weight of her secret, a weight that was beginning to feel too heavy to bear. Later that evening, Amara quietly watched Adrian from afar. While he talked with others, a strange sensation overtook her. She wanted to approach him, but at the same time she felt a deep, unexplainable fear. Could her life, her secret, bring harm to him? Could she allow herself to be vulnerable? Weeks passed, and despite the quiet turmoil in Amara's heart, she couldn't stop thinking about Adrian. Her curiosity and longing for him only grew stronger. Finally, unable to resist, she found herself facing him again. This time, their conversation continued under the stars, more personal, more intimate. But as they grew closer, Amara remained hesitant. How could she, in Aswang, build a life with someone so normal? And how could she explain the truth without losing him? She could not. She feared the consequences of revealing herself. Yet the pull between them was undeniable. One night, as they sat beneath the moonlight, Adrian finally spoke what had been on his heart for some time. "Amara," he began, his voice steady, "there's something about you that I can't ignore. I know there's a lot you haven't told me, but I don't care. What I care about is you. I care about us." Amara's heart raced. She had never wanted to share her secret, but there was something about Adrian's words that made her believe maybe, just maybe, he could accept her even with all of her darkness. But could he truly? "I'm in a Aswang, Adrian," Amara whispered, her voice trembling. "I'm not like other people. I carry a power, a curse, but I don't want to hurt you." There was a heavy silence between them, and Amara braced herself for rejection, for the inevitable fear to creep into Adrian's eyes. But instead, after what seemed like an eternity, he looked at her with understanding. "Amara," he said gently, "I don't care about what you are. Care about who you are. I've known even before you told me. I don't want to lose you." Her world shifted in that moment. His acceptance, his unconditional love, was more than she could have hoped for. Amara realized that love didn't require perfection. It was not about what they were, but about what they felt for each other. From that night on, their love blossomed, overcoming the challenges and uncertainties that came with Amara's true nature. Though she still struggled with the reality of what she was, Adrian never wavered in his commitment to her. He never once asked her to change, only to be herself. As the days passed, the bond between them deepened. Amara began to feel free from the burden of her secret. She no longer hid in the shadows, but embraced the love that Adrian offered. Together, they forged a life that was filled with both joy and sorrow, laughter and tears, but always with the understanding that they were meant to be together, no matter the odds. And so, Amara and Adrian's story became a legend in their village, a tale of love and acceptance against all odds. A story that showed even in the darkest of places, light could shine through, as long as two hearts were willing to fight for each other. Their love story was proof that no matter how different we may be, love has the power to heal, to transform, and to bring light into the darkest corners of our hearts.